Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety for the City of Huntington on September 15th. We will call the meeting to order beginning with a roll call. Christy?
Mayor Strick?
Present.
Danielle Albertson?
Present.
Megan Bonbrake?
Present.
Anthony Lisnick is absent.
Thank you. And having established a quorum for the conducting of city business, we'll move along to the first item on the agenda, consideration of the minutes from the September 2nd regular meeting. Is there a motion to bring those to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the minutes of the previous meeting. Not seeing or hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the minutes as submitted. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries and minutes are adopted. Moving along under old business, we have a River Fork Water Main extension bid award. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Director Cuttress.
Yes, if the board will remember, on August 18th, we opened 5 bids for the extension of the water main from West Park Drive along State Road 9 south to underneath the river, underneath the railroad, into the back of River Fork West. Like I said, we opened 5 bids at that meeting. The lowest bid was from Fox Contractors for $1,828,738.15. After reviewing all the documents with the engineer and the attorney, it would be our recommendation that we award the bid to Fox Contractors, and then we can move forward with this project. So that would be our recommendation at this time.
Is there a motion to concur with the recommendation and award the bid to Fox?
So moved. Second.
Further discussion and consideration? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of the motion to award the bid on recommendation to Fox for the River Fork Water Main extension from West Park Drive. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving along under new business, we have several special event requests today. First up, we have 3 cross-country events, and we do have Nick Cunningham here to present on those. Is there a motion to bring it to the floor for consideration?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Mr. Cunningham.
Hello again. I'm Nick Cunningham, Athletic Director of New Haven. Once again, we are asking for the business to host our cross-country meets in Huntington at Huntington University once again. The first one would take place on the 27th of September, Saturday morning, roughly beginning. We would do senior recognition at 7:45. Then our races would start at 8. Last race taking place at noon. We have roughly over 100 teams looking to race. Junior high, middle school would race the first 4, and then high school would race after that. We would ask that Stutz Road, we have slow signs going down there, and Gragg Street would be shut down from that time. Long College as well, there would be slow signs. We did ask Crestview Middle School to allow us to park some buses there along with Huntington University. The second event would be IHSAA sectional cross country, again at Huntington University. Much less of a commitment when it comes to teams. And then the next one would be IHSAA regionals the next weekend, which would be the 25th of October.
And so the sectional date, was that October 18th then?
Yes, it was.
And then the large meet in September, the date on that?
27th.
So September 27th, October 18th, and October 25th.
Yes, all 3 of those Saturdays, I believe.
Thank you. Further questions by board members?
The 18th and the 25th, were those roughly the same time as the?
It will actually be later.
Okay.
IHSA makes sure that we open up the course at 10:30 for the first race and then 11:15 for the second race. There's only 2 races on those 2 dates. So we would ask that it would be shut down approximately from 10 o'clock to noon on those 2 dates.
Further questions or consideration by board members? Not seeing or hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of all 3 dates. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item under special events is Hauntington here in town on October 18th as well. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Welcome back.
Hi.
So what can you tell us about Hauntington 2025?
Do all that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sabrina Newcomb, 1754 Sabine Street.
Hill, 530.
All right, so we're doing a big event downtown for Hauntington. It's on October 18th. We are wanting to do like a designated time, basically from 5 to 8, where they'll do like trick or treating. We've got a lot of the small businesses downtown that's agreed to participate, so the kiddos can dress up and come downtown, trick or treat. We'll also have other activities going on at that time. We want to do hay rides. The hayride is gonna run down Jefferson. So Market Street would stay open because of parking and stuff, but Washington, we would need closed down because that's where like the vendors, we're gonna do a bounce house, a beer tent there, and kind of like the main stage area where they'll have like karaoke and DJing throughout the evening, and they'll be announcing like different things that are going on. They also have fire dancers that are confirmed that are going to do their thing, but that'll all be there on Washington. But we needed the space so that the hayride can come down and actually go around to give the kiddos the hayride. So it would come down Jefferson. We need Washington blocked off. Just like that alley, Market Street would stay open, and then behind on Franklin, where they kind of do like the music in the city and stuff like that, we're gonna have the trunk or treating, and so we'll need that parking lot too, right, where they normally. Other than that, most of the other stuff would be available, like the side streets more would be available.
So real quick, just to recap the road closures, Jefferson from West Park down to Franklin would be closed, or all the way through the state, really.
Correct.
And then the Franklin block and parking lot would be closed to the east off of Jefferson, and then Washington, both east and west off of Jefferson. Okay.
But
But Market Street will remain open.
Will remain
Okay.
open. Because we're only just going to set like our tents out in front of our businesses so that the kiddos can trick or treat. So they wanted to kind of leave that, oh, and the face painting. But we're gonna kind of leave that so that people can park and stuff like that.
You just need that half block then?
Yeah,
possibly?
that's where they want to set up like the vendors that they have, like the night. They're doing like a night market,
Yeah.
so they
Okay.
wanted to set them up right there. From 5 to 8, they're doing like all the kid-friendly stuff, like the face painting, trunk or treating. At 7 is when they're going to do like the costume contest. 7:30, they're doing like the hay rides. They're wanting to have like a storyteller like on the hayride as they're taking them around. 7:30 will be like the fire dancers, but that'll all be right there on Washington. And then from 9 to 12 that night, we're doing a pub crawl where they have to get stamped at each one of our places. So it's supposed to be Market Street, Collar, Big Daddies, and I believe Wise Guys is supposed to participate, where they'll go, they get stamped, and then at the end of the night, we're gonna have like a big prize for, because they'll get actually did it all. And we were gonna do a big prize at the end of the night of whoever participates in that, so. They also are, like I said, we're gonna have like a beer tent, and they'll have like, wine, I think they're doing wine and stuff that, because we wanted to activate the Dora during this time,
Any other questions by board members?
Have you done the hayride yet?
so. I was supposed to,
That's what I was thinking you were.
I'm very pouty about this right now, so, but, we actually had the wagon and everything all ready to go, and we're using a side-by-side, and it's actually plated, so we won't have any issues there. But, it was all set up to go, and then it downpoured at 2 o'clock, so I had to move everything indoors last weekend. It still turned out nice. The band did a really great job, and it was a good time. It was kind of a bummer, because I kind of wanted to see all the kiddos paint their I bought a lot. But I'm gonna give them to, because they're gonna do like a pumpkin decorating for the haunting season. My kiddo went crazy at the pumpkin patch and loaded 2 wagons full.
That silver lining.
Other
So I'm
questions?
hoping that, it's a small wagon, it's just a 2-wheel, so, I mean, it would fit like a nice sized family on there, or if you just have like a bunch of kiddos. So it's small, but it'll be fun for them.
Any
I
other
really hope we
questions?
get to do it, because I'm really tired of not being able to do
It's for Sabrina, not the kids.
it.
Let's be real.
For me.
All right, not hearing any further questions from board members then, is there a motion to authorize Huntington on October 18th? And we'll make sure we get an upgraded on paper, or updated on paper of the closures, so we make sure we get exactly what you want on that.
Okay.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion and second, further discussion, consideration? Call the question in favor of approval of the special events request for Huntington on October 18th. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
I want to see Mayor in the hayride.
Next event on the agenda is a Fall Fest for Hope Rising on October 4th. We've got Mr. Hauser here with us today. Step forward and state your name and address in the record and let us know about the event.
Hi, I'm Michael Hauser from Hope Rising, and representing Hope Rising and Women of Valor today together. Much smaller event, but it is a community event that is Hope Rising is hosting in our parking lot in their new remodeled youth center. It's from 3 to 7 on Saturday, October 4th. And the street area that we would just need blocked off is Edna, between the church and the church's parking lot. There is an alley that runs behind that, so the street would just be blocked off up to the edge of the alley, so the alley would not be blocked off there. Back. It was really just that little, I don't know, maybe it's 50 feet, 60 feet area, just for safety reasons, parking. It's a community event that they're doing. They're gonna have games, fun, stuff like that, food vendors, and really putting it out to the community. Just come out, bring their kids out, and have a good time. It's family oriented, nothing crazy, but should be good. And Women of Valor is going to be start doing more and more in our community. They work with women age 18 to 30 that are destitute. They have several programs going on in the Goshen area. They want to bring it here. Hope Rising has got involved with them, gone to a couple of their dinners, and just really met with them, and really excited about what they offer. So this is a way for them saying hi to the community, and they are putting all of it. They're bringing it all in. They're getting everything needed for it, and Hope Rising is facilitating the parking lot and their use.
Any questions for Mr. Hauser?
Is this your first fall event?
Their first fall event here? Yes. Yes. We've advertised it some. We're really going to start pushing out after this going forward.
All the proper department heads and everything.
Okay, not hearing any further questions. Is there a motion to authorize the special event request for Hope Rising's Fall Fest on October 4th?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for approval of the parade route for the Veterans Day on November 8th. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Superintendent Bischoff.
Yes, excuse me, good afternoon. Veterans Day Parade this year, November the 8th. Same route as last year. They're planning on lining up at 9 a.m. at high school, left on McGann, down Jefferson, if it's open, which was the only question I had. That came from Tim Eckert, but I should be good.
Yep. Yes, it will
Then-
be open by then.
Yep, out Park Drive to Memorial Park, and at 10:45, there's supposed to be a small service there at the park.
Further questions or discussion?
Is it?
Okay, not hearing any at this time then. Is there a motion to authorize the Veterans Day Parade route on November 8th?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration? Not seeing or hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the event. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a fence code appeal for 262 South Bryant Street. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration before the board today?
So moved.
Oh, second.
I have a motion and second. Mr. Hartberg, if you could just lay out the parameters for the board members today and how this works.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Good afternoon, everyone. We are having a fence code appeal. The board doesn't hear administrative appeals very often, so we'll just kind of give you an overview of the process. The applicant today is appealing an administrative decision relating to the application of a certain city code. That city code in question today is code section 150.52 subparagraph capital H of the fence code, and it's contained within the building code. Is the position of the applicant that the Brins Department made an error in the application of that code provision, and the applicant seeks to have that decision overturned, allowing their fence to be permitted. The board is charged with hearing the appeal and making a determination on a specific item being appealed. So the hearing that we'll have the appellant make his presentation to the board, and he can put on evidence, question witnesses, and the board can ask him questions as well. The department will then make its presentation to the board, present evidence, and will also answer questions of the board. The board then will deliberate and decide to either affirm, rescind, or modify the order of Brins Department. Just to remind everyone, what we're looking at here is a section of the city code. The city code is adopted by the Common Council, so it's not the board's job to reconfigure the city code or to take any liberties with that. You're stuck with what the Common Council has adopted. And I'll be here to answer any questions anyone has.
Board members, any questions in regard to what Mr. Hartberg just shared? All right. At this time then, I'd invite Mr. Landon Crittenden to come forward and go ahead and state your name and your address. And then if you could, as Mr. Harburg said, if you can lay out your concern and the evidence for your case on your appeal.
My name's Landon Crittenden. My address is 1401 Evergreen Road. I'm the property owner of the 262 Bryant Street, and I also own the 268 South Bryant Street. And I'm here to respectfully appeal the fence permit denial for 262 South Bryant Street. My request is simple. I wish to extend the privacy fence off of the High Street side, which is considered a front yard in the denial letter. In the front yard zoning definitions, it states that the front yard, sorry, I was a little bit nervous.
You're okay.
It says, it references a corner lot. Our lot is not a corner lot. It's like a really unique lot. It's actually an L-shaped lot. And that's where I think the director and I disagreed on how it should be imposed. I think that the backyard should be the High Street side. The actual front yard should be the 262 that it's actually facing. So I submitted a packet, and in that packet was pictures of the property. You guys get a chance to look at it? Yeah. So I actually went door to door, and I knocked on the neighbors. I got over a dozen signatures. They agreed that it wasn't a safety issue. It wasn't going to be a driving visibility issue for any pedestrians or cars. I also, in the packet, I submitted just other corner lots that are actual corner lots that were allowed to put fences up to their property lines. The director wants us to either put a 3-foot fence up or put the 6-foot fence 10 to 12 feet inside of the already approved fence on 268. We just wanted to carry that fence line all the way down the road. It's like a 30-foot. I think that will make it look better. I think that
Okay. Board members, do you have any immediate questions for Mr. Crittenden?
Can we ask what you are intending to do with the properties?
So 268 is the grocery getaway. It's the
Yes.
Airbnb.
Okay,
So originally these two properties were built together in the 1800s.
yes,
So I finally was able to get this property. The second one is going to be another Airbnb.
okay,
So we required the fence to give privacy to the guests.
sure.
That's why we're really pushing for it.
You've done a very good job, so, in updating, so.
Yeah, we really want to, it's really cool because we're the first people to own this property. 100 years it was built together. It's really neat.
Mr. Crittenden, one of the items you cited in your appeal for it was item 3 was safety and visibility. I'm curious, you point out that and acknowledge that that would be a legitimate concern, and that's part of the reason for this code. How would you see that 6-foot fence affecting residents that are coming out of the alley?
So,
Because it seems like their view would be obstructed by a 6-foot privacy fence.
yeah, so the code requires a 3-foot offset off of the alley. And then there's a garage in the back, and they're going to be parking back there. So it'll actually be closer to like 20 feet. That was some of the neighbors that signed the petition. That was their concern. But it shouldn't, I actually put photos.
Okay.
Actually put a photo from the alley. Right here. Yeah, so the fence would actually, you can kind of see it, it's the chain link fence. Fence that we want to put in is going to go in another foot and probably back 5 feet. So it won't be obstructing any view from the alley.
Okay, and so at the heart of your concern on the appeal is that in your contention, the front yard is only on South Bryant Street. There's no frontage
Yeah.
on High Street. The frontage is on Bryant Street.
I would say that because the rear yard is only access to the garage and parking.
Board members, any additional questions for Mr. Crittenden?
Not questions.
Okay, thanks for your presentation. You can have a seat. Director Keplinger.
Thank you. As has been discussed already, we are here today to hear an appeal for a denial for a fence permit application. Save all this perfunctory information, we've been through that. So a little bit additional view of the property. You can see, as Mr. Crittenden said, it's an L-shaped property in effect at Bryant and High Street, having frontage on both South Bryant Street and East High Street. Those two frontages not intersecting, and then having rear alley access as well. A couple of different views of the property, just for some perspective there. This from the Bryant Street side, and this from the High Street side, showing effectively the limits of that property. As Mr. Crittenden indicated, he had submitted a fence permit application. His desire is to install a 6-foot tall privacy fence, which is effectively be in line with the existing privacy fence already installed at the adjoining property that he owns. It would be effectively 2 to 3 feet back from that property line. In effect, that location shown there in the bottom right-hand corner. That is the area of contention. The fence permit did contain 2 other sections of fencing, one between the 2 structures and 2 along the north property line going out to the garage. City Code 150.52 specifies standards of installation as they relate to fencing. It states that all installations of fencing shall be in strict conformity with the following, and then the subject code section that we're here to hear about today. That no privacy fence shall be placed in the required front yard zoning setback as specified in Chapter 158 with a height greater than 3 feet measured from grade unless the fence is in line with a leading edge of the foundation of a legally established primary or accessory structure. The fence permit application was denied by the department on August 21st for failing to comply with 150.52H, specifically by proposing a privacy fence greater than 3 feet in height to be installed 2 feet or less from the front lot line along East High Street within what the department feels is a front yard setback. Some key definitions for you today, and I've included a printout of this in your packet so you can have them. The zoning code defines a building as a structure having a roof supported by columns or walls designed, built, or used for the enclosure, shelter, or protection of persons, animals, or property. It describes a front yard as a yard defined herein encompassing the horizontal space between the nearest foundation of a building to the right-of-way line, and that right-of-way line extending to the side lot line, and measured as the shortest distance from the foundation to the right-of-way line. A lot which is located on a corner shall be considered as having 2 front yards. A rear yard is defined as a yard herein encompassing the horizontal space between the nearest foundation of a building or structures to the rear lot line and that lot line extending to the side lot lines of the lot and measured as the shortest distance from the foundation to the rear lot line. Side lot lines are any lines separating 2 lots other than front or rear lot lines. And then further, the zoning code goes on to specify that a side yard is comprised of a yard between the main building and the side lot line extending from the front yard or front lot line where no front yard is required to the rear yard. So while the definition of front yard clarifies that corner lots, frontages on 2 intersecting streets, have 2 front yards, it does not say that other lots can only have 1 singular frontage. This is done because in the zoning code, 158.38A further clarifies that corner lots are not subject to rear yard setbacks, but side yards on all remaining sides. So if you're a corner lot, you have 2 fronts and the rest are sides. If you are not a corner lot, you will have a front, potentially multiple fronts, a side, potentially multiple sides, and a rear or potentially multiple rears, depending on the overall shape of the lot. Similarly, the definition for side yard and rear yard do not dictate that there can be more than one, and they do not dictate that there must only be one. The most common rectangular shaped lot will always have at least two sidelines. Each lot line must, by default, either be a front, a side, or a rear, and the corresponding setback standard then applied accordingly. If there could only be one front yard, in the instance of this property, or at any of the following examples that I will go over, dictate which frontage would be considered the regulatory front. What would prevent someone from seeking to switch the designation in the future to suit their specific project needs? Lots come in all shapes, sizes, and configuration, and it's not uncommon to have some lots have multiple frontage along 2 or more roadways. Here's a random sample of 6 lots that all have 3 front yards, one at Bryant and Main, one at Waterworks and Granite, one at Major, Joe, and Drover, and then 3 in the bottom right-hand corner along Tipton Street at Poplar, Oak, and so on. Some lots can have 4 frontages. Now, none of these are residential, but all of these are commercial lots that all have all front yards: the courthouse, the library, St. Peter and Paul Catholic Church, the old Central School, and the Memorial Park. They comprise what we would effectively call is an entire block, bounded by roads on each sides. Here are some samples of 5 residential lots similarly configured to Mr. Crittenden's lot. One at Webster and Lee, all of them are L's. One at Woodlawn and Second, one at Bryant and Franklin, one at Second and Woodlawn, and one just down the street here at Oak and State Street. So let's go and let's apply those definitions that dictate that to this particular property. So again, a building is a structure having a roof supported by columns or walls designed, built, or used for enclosures, protection of persons, animals, and property. There are 2 buildings on this property. There's the primary building and the accessory building. A front yard is defined as following: encompassing the horizontal space between the nearest foundation of a building to the right-of-way line, and from that right-of-way line extending to the side of the lot and measured at the shortest distance from that foundation to the right-of-way line. So if we take the space between each building and the right-of-way line, that is 1 on Bryant and 1 on High. The rest is process of elimination. Side yard lines are yards between the main building and the side lot line extending from the front yard to the front lot line where no front yard is required to the rear yard, and any line separating 2 lots other than front or rear lot lines, so what we would call internal lot lines. Those red lines separate all of the other internal lots. And so now, because it's not a corner lot where it does not have a rear, the following by default must be a rear lot line. That rear lot line abuts the alley. Any questions on that? Also supporting our position is a prior BZA determination. In 1989, the owner of 262 South Bryant Street applied for a setback variance to construct a carport 5 feet from the front yard setback requirement from the High Street property line. It is contained within that petition, underlined in red. 35 years ago, the Board of Zoning Appeals held a public hearing and deliberations based on the fact that the south property line along High Street, by definition, is a front yard setback. If the board were to rule differently now, that would mean that the front yard definition for fences would in effect be different than for a building, despite the fact that they are defined by the exact same code. That could have ripple effects not only for this property, but for other properties that are similarly situated. Staff agrees that this lot does not meet the definition of a corner lot as contained in the zoning code. Contrary to the appellant's claim in number 4, the term double frontage lot was not cited as a formal basis for the 8/21/25 denial of the fence permit application. And it is also true that the zoning code does not define the term double frontage lot, which is a term that I utilized in the denial letter. However, the subdivision code does define that, just for argument's sake, in 156.004. It defines a double frontage lot as a lot which has frontage upon two parallel streets or which has frontage upon two streets which do not intersect at the boundaries of the lot. In conclusion, from the staff's perspective, the south property line along High Street is by definition a front yard because it constitutes the horizontal space between the nearest foundation of a building to the right-of-way line. And that while the zoning code does not specifically say that all lots except corner lots can only have one front yard, but only that a corner lot has two front yards and in effect no rear yards. As shown by the numerous examples, lots can have more than one front, side, or rear yard. And lastly, in 1989, the BZA has affirmed the application of a front yard setback along the High Street frontage. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Works affirm the permit denial as originally cited for noncompliance with 150.52H.
Anything further, Director Keplinger?
The only thing I would add is to your question about visibility from the alley. If the board were to overturn and allow the permit, I would encourage you to put some sort of conditions, because once that would be in place, there would be nothing preventing a future owner, although that may not be his intent, from taking it right up to within 2 foot of the setback of an alley.
Board members, questions for Director Keplinger? Clarifications to understand?
Oh, you might.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just looking at the corner property that has an existing fence already. Yes. So,
286,
yes.
The other parcel.
yes.
So the fence that's existing there now, wouldn't they have the same issue as having two front?
But it's in line though, correct? Yes.
That fence is in line. So in 150.52H, that corner lot would apply to this one, unless the fence is in line with the leading edge of the foundation of a legally established primary or accessory structure.
That's fine. Okay. That's the problem.
Okay.
In line.
So Bryn, just for my own indulgence and understanding of this, now historically, were these always two parcels, or was this at one time joined as one parcel with two buildings? You happen to know?
If it was, it predates any of the documentation. It predates, I mean, this is why, I don't want to say this is why. Situations like this are why we have subdivision control and standards, right? And they didn't come along till sometime after, because some of these things can be avoided, right? Dual frontage lot, I mean, by principle, those are discouraged, or double frontage lots are discouraged. I have no idea. They very well could have been. It could have been an instance where the shopkeeper lived next door and, operated that. How it got split, I don't know. I didn't dive back that far.
Yeah, you'd mentioned there was joint ownership. Do you know if the parcels were actually one at one point and then split? Okay.
But those are not things that you've appealed. Those are not things that you have appealed today. I get you, I'm just making sure.
Further questions by board members?
So basically, we're here today to look at whether the appeal, if it falls with the ordinance. I mean, that's what we're here just to look at today.
So to clarify, Ms. Harburg, clarify, correct me if I'm wrong, we are actually in the function of an umpire, determining whether or not Director Kaplinger followed the appropriate application of the code, not questioning the code
Oh,
or
okay.
any apparent
So did he do his job?
gray areas or
correctly?
other things. Correct. Yep. Is that correct, Mr. Harburg?
Yeah, whether the department was correct in denying the application on these grounds.
So if that motion is moved forward, is there a process that he can go through to reappeal or ask differently for what he's
More
wanting?
other options? Like, what would that be on his part?
What specifically? I mean, if he disagrees with the board's ultimate decision, it becomes a litigation matter in the court.
Okay. So, with your ruling, and my understanding, because I'm clearly not what you do, I'm looking at the layout, the little blue mappy, okay? I took a lot of time over this weekend because there's a lot of paperwork. Has to be in line. You have an L-shaped property, correct? It has to be coming off of the foundation of 626. It is not. Therein is our problem, right? Because it's not coming off of, you're wanting it to come off of the other property. That is our problem, is it not? The fence? So therefore you denied it. Is that what it is?
Could you
I mean,
restate that?
am I just,
I'm having trouble following. Could
Okay.
you restate that?
626, you want to put a private.
262?
You know what I mean. 626, 262, forgive me, it's a Monday, I've got a lot going on. You want the privacy fence to be coming off of the secondary property, but it is not in line with the other property, therefore it is denied. Is that our lay term? Is that,
It was
the
denied
best-
because it is a privacy fence exceeding 3 feet in height that is in the regulated front yard setback by definition. So if that's how you're watering, I mean, I'm not trying
I'm
to be
watering it down
argumentative.
in the best way I
If
can.
that's how you're trying to argue,
His
water
property
it
comes over
down.
here, it's not coming off of his house, the foundation.
Right,
the
there's
line of his
there's an
house.
exemption in the code for if you don't have to meet that setback if you are in line.
It's not in line.
Correct. That's
So
as we
therefore
would
it
apply
is-
it. There is nothing on his property for that to be in line with.
The property's too far over, it's not in line, it is denied, correct?
Correct.
And then you did all of your brinness, and therefore it is denied. Is that?
Right,
okay.
correct. So it would have to, one of two things, if it was taller than 3 feet as a privacy fence
Yes,
or
he
4 foot
wants
as a
6
decorative
feet.
height, it would
Yes.
have to either meet the prescriptive front yard setback
Yep.
in a R2 district, which is 20 feet,
Mm-hmm.
or meet the average. My original intent was to perform an average and then present him with options. We never
Yep.
got that far.
Okay, so you did what you did, and then it was denied. Okay, I feel like, okay. Just trying to make sure we did our steps and stuff, yes. Is that not what,
No, he's correct. It doesn't say it has to come off his structure. It also doesn't say it can come off a neighboring structure, one down the streets, around the corner.
in line with leading edge of foundation or legally established primary accessory structure? So either your garage or your house, am I,
That is how I apply it. I do not apply it to other, we have historically not applied it to other structures, because where do you stop? Do I go 3 blocks down High Street and say it's in line with the house down there? Do I say
on
it's
your
right?
property, correct?
That is my interpretation of that.
So your garage or whatever building you have on your
On that
property.
specific parcel.
Yeah, on your parcel. So it's, but that other thing is not on your parcel. But is that on your parcel? Okay. Okay,
It is another point in which we disagreed.
okay. So is it really then just a gray area of? Sure.
So the other options that you didn't get to discuss, those are not written here?
Correct.
So,
He wanted an ultimate decision as to what was going to happen based on what he had submitted. I had encouraged him to finalize his application because it was still, the application form was still blank in terms of setback, or where the location was for the site plan and the height of the fence, and so he came in and filled that out, and we ultimately made a decision so that he could then pursue this option.
This is tough, isn't it? I mean, especially when you're in a,
sounds like you have other options that you guys need to be able to just
sure. And I can understand that. I mean, this is a business that you're, pitching, getting in here too, but ambiguity, I think, in a ordinance setting is kind of, I personally feel it's, an ordinance is kind of a cut and dry thing, and when you're looking at it, I mean, it's a fence. I get it. It's kind of a, it is what it is. But when it comes to an ordinance, whether we like it or not, it's an ordinance. And, I mean, I think there are options, and you can pursue them in a way. Maybe we can sit down today with Director Keplinger, and maybe with all some cool heads, we can figure some stuff out. And, I mean, I'll be frank.
Just to
ordinances
be
can suck
clear, the board
sometimes.
would not be part of that. That would
No,
be
and
the
that's what I'm
day-to-day
saying, not
affairs
me,
of the
you
office.
guys. Ordinances can really stink sometimes, but sometimes we have to just do what we have to do. And I've myself have stood up there very nervously, even though I'm over here, and have fought ordinances. So I get it. But I think they are what they are, and that's just me. So,
agree to uphold the denial, but I also encourage you to come back, and I think the two of you can work something out. You do have some more options that you guys haven't discussed yet.
and I do think it's very good what you're doing. I live down. So, yeah, I think there are options, and I think we can figure it out to get something in both everybody's favor. But an ordinance is an ordinance, is an ordinance, and I'm not saying, we can't figure something out to make everybody happy.
Is that a motion to uphold the denial? Is there a second? Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the motion. Not seeing or hearing any at this time, we'll call a question in favor of the motion to uphold the denial of the, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Wish you the best in finding a resolution for it. Next item on the agenda today is Little River Section 2 Design Agreement. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration?
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. Director Cutters.
Yes, I'm here with an agreement between the city and Engineering Resources to begin the design of the next section of the Little River Trail. This section of the trail would essentially pick up from South Jefferson Street, where the Little River Trail has previously ended, right there on Jefferson, Etna Avenue area, running along the river westward, working its way all the way over to where a much earlier section of the Little River Trail terminates on Frederick Street. This would fill in this roughly just over half a mile section of trail, would fill in a gap that connects two previously built sections of the trail, creating some connectivity between Elmwood Park, downtown, and then further eastward, and continuing on with the other trails that the city has. The fee for this section of the trail, which would include all design plans, permitting, geotechnical investigations, survey work, and potential wetland investigations, just due to its proximity to the river. The total fee for that is $158,800. This project is one of several projects listed under the general obligation bond that the City Council previously approved at the end of last year. So the fee for this would come out of those funds. So at this time, it would be my recommendation for the board to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement between the city and Engineering Resources so that we can begin the design of this next section of the trail.
Further question or discussion by board members? Not seeing or hearing any, we'll call the question in favor of authorizing signatures on the design agreement. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is inspection agreement regarding River Fork West and construction project there. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration and approval?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Director Cutters.
This goes in line with the item earlier on the agenda, the River Fork Water Main Extension bid award. With that project being awarded, we expect construction on that to begin later this year. We have asked Engineering Resources, who are the designers on that project, to provide us with an inspection agreement for them to provide an inspector during construction of this project. We did the same thing with them when we did the 200 North Progress Drive project. This would be for them to provide a full-time inspector. The fee in here is based on an assumption of the amount of time the project's going to take. They have built in here roughly 15 weeks, depending on the time frame and how fast the contractor is able to move. This would obviously come in less. It's an hourly based agreement. This was previously presented on Friday to RDC, who holds the funds for both the construction as well as the inspection on this project. It would be my recommendation that the board authorize the mayor to sign the inspection agreement. The fee is $82,786 for Engineering Resources to provide an inspector on this project during construction.
Further discussion by board members? Okay, is there a motion to authorize signature on the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving along under ordinance enforcement, only item under there is an update on 1321 Gay Street. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration and update?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Commissioner Paul.
Good afternoon. Yes, I was able to do an interior inspection last week on that property. I guess I'll run through it real quick. The owner is Kenneth Black III and Kenneth Black Sr. of 1321 Gay Street. That order was issued on May 27th, 2025. Affirmed during the Board of Works meeting on June 16th. There was a civil penalty assessed on July 7th. Then during the August 4th meeting, an extension was granted. The order was modified allowing an extension. There was another extension granted on September 2nd. I'm happy to report that the interior inspection went well. They meet all minimum requirements of the unsafe and minimum housing ordinance. So it would be my recommendation to release the order of enforcement at this time.
Any further questions, board members?
Withdraw the fee, the penalty, the non-compliance fee. How do we feel that that's?
$2,500 civil penalty that was assessed during the July 7th Board of Works meeting? I believe that's I believe you can.
Because I believe that was before he came forward.
I believe it was before Kenneth Black Sr.
Yeah.
knew what was going on
Yes.
with the property, yes. He was not aware that the city was taking action against it because he didn't get, his mailing address is different than this one.
Mhm. I make a motion to withdraw that.
So a motion and second to release the order of enforcement and rescind the fine for willful failure to comply?
Yeah.
That's what you second?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, further discussion of the motion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Not aware of any miscellaneous items for the good of the order. Moving along to accounts payable. Is there a motion to authorize payment of the bills incurred by the city of Huntington?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration. Call the question in favor of authorization of the payment of the bills incurred by the city of Huntington. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good week.